Hello there everyone, I'm Sarthak Sharma and today I'm going to tell you a story titled
It was a usual day of school until I discovered a light being emitted from the school forest. This started when I went to take my tiffin. While returning, I noticed a light and couldn't hold myself out. Although I knew that it could be extremely threatening, but my legs were moving on their own. The light vanished as I entered the forest. Now, I was totally unenthusiastic and bent down to take rest. Then I saw some footprints. These were totally different from any creature I knew. I followed them. While following the steps, I heard some sounds of leaves being churned by anyone's foot. This was a signal that I am being followed. My legs were trembling, but I gathered all of my courage, stopped and turned around. There was nothing except the tall trees and some fresh new footsteps on the soil. I started walking again. The sound came again. This time I didn't stop and turn. Instead, I started running and turned backward at once, not giving the creature a chance to hide. What happened next was supremely horrifying. A short, slim, grey-colored human-like creature was standing still. I was totally stunned. After a pause of 5 seconds, I murmured, "What do you want?" The alien said something which was completely incomprehensible. He started to gradually proceed towards me. Eventually, he came so close to me that I could touch it. We both were staring at each other. Then, suddenly, he raised his hand and said something in a commanding tone. Then a figure started to take shape just above my temple. It started from a small bulb and expanded until it covered the whole forest. I recall the images of some UFO I saw on internet. This one resembled them. That was one of the most fortunate moments of my life, as I had discovered something about which no one knew about. Unfortunately, I didn't have the time to celebrate. I knew that these aliens usually came to abduct people of Earth and do their research on us, and I didn't want to leave my blue planet. Thus, I channeled my whole energy to my foot and started running. When I looked back, the alien was gone. He just disappeared as if it was a hologram. Now all of my fear had turned into excitement, and I turned my fear into a huge excitement. Now I just wanted to get out of the jungle, but lamentably, that was not possible because I forgot the way back. But I didn't lose hope. I kept on running in one direction. For about half an hour, I kept sprinting and sprinting until my lungs had become totally empty. Now I needed some time to breathe in some air. Therefore, I stopped in the middle of woods and started sniffing like a dog. Suddenly, a huge oval-shaped cloud started to form over me. The clouds gradually came closer. It did not seem to be a normal one. Then, the same alien showed up again, and this time it brought some of his fellows with himself. They surrounded me and started to progress towards me. I tried to offer them my money and food, but no one replied, and their faces told that they were negative for taking my edibles or money. I started punching them, but they would disappear. One by one, all of them vanished. I was out of danger now. But the joy of being saved didn't last long enough. I got pulled up into the UFO and found myself in the room moments later. The room had a different architecture, and there were several machines about which I didn't even know about. After a couple of minutes, I realized that I was lying down on a bed, and the weird thing about that was that the bed didn't have any legs. It was just floating in the air. I understood that I was in a UFO. I got up and started searching for a door to get out of the room. Shockingly, there wasn't any door. in there. I was perplexed. I didn't understand how in the world I got inside that room. Thus, I started looking around. I started looking around the room and noticed how blissful it was. The room was totally filled with some designs and machines which looked extremely blissful. I took support from wall just for being a little tired. But the wall didn't support me. Instead, I reached another room. I understood that the wall was a teleportation portal. That was totally unexpected. The next unexpected thing was awaiting for me. I found my friends lying unconscious in the room. I remembered that all of them were absent today. I woke them up. All of us were having a mutual feeling of being afraid. Now, after being recovered from the shock, we decided to escape. So we started searching for a teleportation portal to another room, which we soon did find. We now started moving from one room to another randomly from anywhere to anywhere. We ourselves were unaware of where we were going. We were just hoping for an exit door. Just an exit door could save our lives. We didn't get the exit door. Instead, we entered the control room of Alien's UFO. This was the most unfortunate thing ever happened. The room was exceedingly large and was filled with thousands of monitors and electronic appliances, which I had neither seen nor heard about. All of us were greatly astounded as we knew that we had entered in